Yeah, so that we can have notes from this meeting. Yeah, so it's not about building anything. It's about whatever is built up has maintenance, right?
Well, it's about going out and getting total new clients that are national. Like I was just on the phone earlier today with Comcast and trying to
Good.
get Comcast as a national account. And then, we're working on, Disney and a company called Sornex out of South Carolina, and Texas Health, obviously out of Texas. So just trying to get bigger companies that have multiple locations, and then, trying to provide them with maintenance plans to, and using our national coverage to try to leverage that to get their business. So that's where we are.
All right. So what is it you feel now that would help you? Tell us how you need our help.
Just like you're not aware of that we have that program, that we have a national footprint, that we can, use our diversify power as far as and Spectra and, the other places that, we have purchased, and be able to perform nationally. We're pretty well known in the Northeast, as you well know, but nobody really knows of us across the country, that this is something that we can do. So
You're fiddling with your
I know it's never comfortable. I'm trying to.
You look good that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Are you okay? Is that on your lap?
Yep, it's on my lap. So.
Okay. And where are you, in a greenhouse?
I'm in my home. It's pretty bright back there, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. And you have it's glassed in, right? That part is
it's a screen.
Oh, you can't tell. Wow.
So.
Okay. And so right up there is your swimming pool. Okay.
Yep.
Hello.
It's 81 degrees today.
Hi, Michael. You're in Florida?
I'm in Florida. Yep. I wore this shirt for Michael today.
Nice.
There you go.
I wore these earrings for Michael. Pete, what did you do? You put on a shirt. Very good.
I put on a shirt.
That is good.
So, okay, we were just talking about what's national. We used to have a national area on the RD Weiss site, and it got taken.
CTS.
What's that?
Through CTS.
Yeah, through CTS, but before then it was national accounts for RD Weiss.
Yeah.
Then that got taken down because we understood that Diversify was handling all national accounts. Correct, Michael? But now you're trying to get your foot in the door for all these companies, letting them know that you do maintenance. Before it was just about other things, right? But now it's maintenance. So you're trying to go after that whole business to let them know about you doing national maintenance. Is that correct, Michael? Michael? Oh, he's unstable. He'll be back.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, he'll be back. I could see he was like unstable. Okay, he'll be back on. All right, so I'm just.
But I think you're right on, Kat, and I wasn't aware of the whole Diversify thing. All that was before me, but somehow, some way to market that. Now we have this program, and how do we get it out to the corporate level that not only can we install your floors, but once we install your floors, or if we haven't even installed, how do we build maintenance?
Right. So are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Yeah.
So I'm in Hawthorne. We're having horrible internet problems today.
That's always
So I may continue to get knocked off. I don't know. So I want you guys to keep talking, okay? And
We're
I
trying
will
to understand
do
this.
what I can.
Okay, Michael, I'm trying to get the gestalt about this national accounts. It was taken away and then now you're trying to grab hold of it again.
Well, okay.
With respect to
So,
minutes.
okay, well, there's two things we're talking about here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I wish I could take I think it would help if you guys did not have your
Oh,
video on.
okay, yeah,
Can you guys get off video? Because it may help the internet here.
yeah.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So there's two, okay, so what you were used to with CTS, take that out of your head for a minute, okay? So CTS is a thing at Diversify, and they are focusing on a national level on installation. What CHIP is focusing on just is what we call, as you know, is what we call the maintenance or floor care. Now we call surface care. So we have responsibility. Michael has responsibility for surface care nationally for Diversify. Chip is the first national account manager, although he's under RD Weiss, someday he may not be, but our job is to build this thing out on a national level. Now, Kat, you've been with us so long. Can you still hear me, guys?
Yep,
Yes.
Okay, Kat, you've been with us so long that you know that we've been doing maintenance nationally almost since day one, right? Started off with Disney and we've had tons of
Right.
accounts over the years that
right.
we've done regionally and nationally. So what we're trying to do though is build a bigger platform. So today as it exists, there are 6 business units of the 53 in Diversify that are in the maintenance business. RD Weiss is the biggest by far, and we are the ones that will be driving this. And so Chip's job is to go out and create national programs with a handful of customers. So eventually what we will need to do is build this thing out. Part of my job is that I've got to pull those 6 business units, ours is 1, so the other 5 business units together to make sure that we have standardized processes.
Right.
What are our core competencies? How are we going to go to market? I already have all this stuff. I can share that with you at some point. These are the 6 things that we're going to say we can do anywhere in the United States from a cleaning standpoint.
Right.
I'm going to start engaging. I'm going to have to build out an operations team to do this. But we have to go kill some elephants before I can do that because we have a separate P&L for this. So I can't incur a ton of cost until we land some things. So we're going to have to do this on the upside a little bit makeshift. So I'm going to just throw some stuff that I want you to kind of write down because this is going to kind of capture a few things if we can. Okay.
Mhm.
So first, let's talk about business units within Diversify. Okay.
Yes.
The business units that are in when we're calling it surface care are the following: RD Weiss, Diversify Chicago, Spectra Atlanta, Butler Floors / Spectra Louisville. Those 2 organizations have combined into one. Resource Colorado. And then Kiefer. So interestingly enough, Kiefer's in the maintenance business because my former team in Chicago is basically servicing them. So those are the organizations that today of the 53 are in the business of maintenance. So for example, I'm going to Louisville in 3 weeks to sit down with Butler, understand their organization, and start talking about, you know, what our core competencies are from a cleaning chemistry standpoint, from a equipment standpoint and all that. So number 1, those are the organizations. Part of our story is Chip has got to be able to go in and say, let me back up a minute. We are not going to certify every business unit within Diversify to do surface care. We will continue to use third parties, okay, like the
Yeah.
StarNet organization, like the former Millicare organization. But when I do build out the operations group, they will certify those people.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And so we're not going to get caught up in who's actually doing it, but Chip's got to be able to go out and say, I can do these 5 things anywhere in the United States. And the customer doesn't really care how we get it done. We just have to be able to get it done.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I've got a document, and by the way, you helped me, Kat, really well with a document that kind of outlines a lot of this stuff. But and I'll make sure that I send off to you some of the things that Chip and I are talking about, right? You know, because I want to make sure that the whole purpose of this, I feel like I'm rambling, but the whole purpose of all of this call is to give you guys some information. Here's some of the documents, Kat, that you actually created. Here's one that Danielle and our marketing department created. We need to start putting some of these things together. And I'm going to rely heavily on Chip after this call to work with you because he's the one that's in the market selling it every day.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep.
So when we talk about these 5 or 6 things, they're what we're calling our core competencies. So when he goes out there, what is he selling? He's selling carpet cleaning. He's selling what we call high performance coatings, which internally what that means is never strip and Siltanium, but we're not calling it that.
Yeah.
Right. Tile and grout restoration, disinfection, upholstery cleaning. Am I missing any, Chip?
1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, those are the 5.
Yeah. So, yeah. So guys, those are the things that we know our organization today can do pretty much anywhere. Now, can RD Weiss do a lot more than that? We can. Can Diversify Chicago do a lot more? They can. But when he goes out and he talks with a company, he's saying that we can do those 5 things anywhere. Now, depending on, like, for example, he was at Texas Health last week and, you know, they did some polishing concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do that.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that, but when it's appropriate, we'll be positioning other things.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do is we need to start building out a story.
Okay. So we're going to create some things you can pass out when you're meeting someone, something a leave behind or information that talks about everything that you're going to be trying to, I don't want to say sell them, but let it known that all these capabilities you have in terms of what surface care does generally. And it's going to be from the perspective of RD Weiss or Diversify. Is it going to be, you know, if you're doing nationwide, basically you're trying to.
It's an incredibly great question. So the short-term answer is there is no answer yet. Okay, so initially it was going to be one of the reasons why RD Weiss is a part of this is the brand recognition on a large scale of surface care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know there's really no company in the commercial space. You know, Chip's former company dabbles in it and they're big in it, but they're really big on the residential side. There's no dominant player on the commercial side of this. So RD Weiss is really no different than anyone else. Diversify, on the other hand, could eventually be, I mean, even StarNet could not pull it off. So so the short answer is we're going to have to do both in the short term. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build, and I'm going to shut up in a few minutes and have Chip say a few things, but let me just say what my vision is. My vision, take your question away for a second. My vision is, and Kat, you know this, we need to have an elevator story.
Right.
From there, we need to have a deliverable on the components of that. Do you remember when I first got here and we took that PowerPoint and we were able to spin off all those different things? If they want to talk about this, they could just pop to that. Do you remember?
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to be in a PowerPoint form. It could be, but what my vision is here's the overall story for surface care. And then we have a spin-off of here are our core competencies and here are these 5 things, spin-off times 5, right? Locations, there's a spin-off of that. You see what I mean? There's going to be a lot of spin-offs from that.
Right.
The deliverable to the customer, I think, would be a big picture as well as the small components, both probably in print, but definitely digitally. So after a meeting or in a meeting, Chip can either hand it to them or pop it up, and then it can be sent to the customer. Part of the vision is also to have our account executives throughout the entire enterprise positioning surface care. And it may just be a peripheral thing. So at the end of every proposal, they have one of these digital attachments and it has whatever, this is a hard surface job. So boom, here's what it is as part of the maintenance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, in terms of locations, we're talking nationwide, right?
Yes. I mean, our service is and will continue to be promoted on a national scale. Again, we'll diversify. We will never, there's not enough time to get all 53 units certified and in the maintenance business. And by the way, some of them couldn't do it and don't want to do it. So what will eventually happen is when the ops group is put together, the first order of business will be, I'm going to be responsible in the short term of standardizing the core 5.
Mhm.
After that, eventually an ops team will be put in place and their first order of business will be to certify the third parties. The second order of business after that will look at the enterprise overall. I'm making this up.
Yeah.
Pretend we'll still be 53, but we'll probably be 70. But let's just say 53. We've identified 17 in the network that we're going to certify because they can do it. They want to do it.
Okay. And these are people underneath, within Diversify.
Right.
These are people maybe in Spectra.
Right. Well, you're going to see that most of the Spectra locations will be brand Diversify. Over the next year or so, there will, and depending on markets, there may be some that still stay as such, but this excuse me, the Spectra brand will be overtaken eventually by the Diversify brand.
Okay, all right. So that'll be within the whole Diversify enterprise, but you are coming out as this one component. It's called Surface Care, and it's going to be touting it across the country as a Surface Care and as per RD Weiss. And you're going to, RD Weiss is leading the charge for Diversify. And because of your background and your knowledge and experience, that's why RD Weiss can get around this and do it for Diversify.
Right. So in the short term, I mean, basically I can say this, in the short term, it'll be dual branded. RD Weiss is so much bigger than everyone else in this that we will be driving all of this. Okay. And so whatever elevator story and all these spinoffs that I've been talking about will be put in RD Weiss, because as we exist today, Chip is under the RD Weiss umbrella.
Right.
Long term,
Yeah.
it will be a Diversify program. Okay. That probably RD Weiss will still be leading the charge of, but there will be a separate organization already. There's a separate P&L that's been established. So it will be a separate business unit. But we can't, but it's a great question, but we have to kind of, in the short term, we have to say, what is our message? How do we want to position this in the market? And then the final question is going to be, when that's all done, okay, do we package RD Weiss and Diversify? Do we only package RD Weiss right now? What are we going to do here? And I can probably tell you in the short term, it's going to be both. And in the long term, RD Weiss will still be, we'll be probably twice the size we are. And our service care business will be much bigger than what it is. So we would still be branded separately because our device will always stay branded separately.
Mhm.
But there will be this spinoff of Diversify Surface Care
Mhm.
in a whole organization. So every business unit will have a person that is represented by Surface Care only nationally.
I
So
see.
there'll be a ton of chips is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. But it's gonna take time. Because they need to get up to snuff with all this. So, okay, but we're gonna start it off by exactly what you're saying, creating a story, of what you are, very pared down version of the story. And start to build it through, well, we could do it through a variety of means, a press release, but creating a flyer kind of thing, some component that has all the information, could be PowerPoint too. So we build it out as we know more in terms of the locations and things like that, and who's involved in this, but it's going to take time, I can imagine. But I think we can just start here with Chip and create this thing that we can talk about and get it out there and support Chip in every, what he's trying to go after, who he's going after.
Yep. So with that said, Chip, why don't you give your perspective now that you've been here a little bit about what you feel you personally need right now, because it'll be a part of the overall package. But
Right.
kind of walk her through that.
I did, and we talked a little bit before you got on, but it's just to get the message out there, that we can work across the country, that we can provide maintenance all over. So it's just, the biggest picture is, how do we get people to know that we can do this? How do we get them the information? And yeah, I mean, obviously when I meet with people, a flyer's okay. It's a little old school. A lot of people just throw them in the trash can. I'll send little, I kind of put together a little thing, Michael, that I shared with you that kind of shows, the Diversify locations
You
and
guys are breaking up.
some pictures and stuff like that. But it's just, how do we market that this is a program that we can, in these 5 core competencies, we can provide these services to these companies across the country, and how do we get that message out there?
Okay.
Is
Well, how is through a variety of ways. We use all our means. We had a bunch of capabilities to do that. Press release, a flyer, yes, maybe a PowerPoint, maybe social media as a drip program where you just drip it little by little consistently, sending e-blasts out to the people that you're trying to go after, or that's what we need is lists, because we got to focus the message out to these people. So we need to work with you to to get that
right, and construct a consistent, the elevator story,
right.
and how to, King and Spalding's an example. My contact at King and Spalding. Well, explain to me what you guys do. What does RD Weiss do? How can you help us?
Right.
How are you a benefit to my company?
Right.
And so, and I do I do my best song and dance, but I wouldn't say it's uniformed or it's something ultra professional. That you can probably help. You and I could probably get something that looks a whole lot better.
Sure. Yeah, I want to see everything you have.
Okay.
All these pieces, and you too, Michael, whatever you got. You can see.
Well, I'm gonna pop this up real quick here. I think this is what you put together. Host disabled participation sharing.
Oh,
Let me
sorry.
share this.
Yeah.
Host disabled participant sharing. Why can't I share then?
Let's see.
There we go. Okay. Tell me when you guys can see this.
Huh, I see your.
I see, start, yes, this is what I put together.
Well, no, this is not what you put together. This is
Oh,
what
no.
Kat put together.
Yeah, I put together.
Yours is that,
Yeah, I
yeah,
kind
but
of,
I've got this too. Kat, do you remember this? You put this
Yeah,
together back
sure.
in October?
We have evolved it.
Okay,
over
so
time.
here's our four core, these aren't alphabetized, but here's our five core competencies.
Right, disinfection, yeah.
So in other words, full service contractor, here's what we do in the surface care business. We're all over the country. This pulls in a little bit about talking about diversify. Here are here are the business units that I told you about internally, right? And then that, you know me with transition slides. So then this breaks down. So you put this together. This is really well done. This is a piece of it, I think. Chip, have you used this? Have you seen this?
yes, I've seen it. And I have used that. And then I just add a little bit, I made that kind of a little personal thing. Remember, I added Kim Francis and my name to it. And
Yeah, and I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that in a minute.
I kind of did
Stop
that. I
sharing.
kind of did a watered down version of that.
Resource Colorado, when do they show up? This is sort of new to me.
We bought them, I would say at the end of Q3 or beginning of Q4. Resource, they are probably the second, well, actually Chicago's second. So they're of the six, they're probably number 3 in terms of revenue. I've reached out to them, but we've not engaged yet, but they're a viable option. Let me try to find what Chip put together real quick here. I think this is it. Let me just. Well, that's just the template. Well, I can still share this. Hold on. I don't want to bog us down here because I know we have somewhat limited time, but I'll send you guys a bunch of this stuff so you kind of have.
Okay,
So can you see this?
It's coming. There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay, so Chip put this together, which was a version of what you put together, Kat. And this is kind of cool because the first few slides here are slides that, you've already seen. But at the end, he puts a proposal here. So this is a deliverable that he gives to customers. He did one with Sornex, which was really well done. He also did one. Did you do this for Texas Health too?
I did not, because Tom was just I just kind of took the back seat on that. I just sent it through Salesforce. Just the proposal
Yeah,
went through
okay.
them.
So anyway, this is kind of a cool deliverable that he had because it's branded, and we're not saying this is the way it's going to be. It's just what he did is he took what you have done, put together, because that's what we had at that point, and put this together, which I personally think is kind of cool because it does highlight in a proposal what we do as a reminder to the customer. So I'll make sure you get a copy, you guys, just so we're on the same page with that first version. Here's a version that we've been using up until this point. So this is kind of our current starting point. This is something Chip has put together. Anyway.
okay. Okay, so we got to put the pieces together and start creating things that can be used and, should be approved by everybody. And then we go forward with that to the next piece. What is our timeline? Immediate?
So I want to get Chip's input here in a second. Here's mine. We need to get some things in. Here's how I feel, and I could be wrong on this. Chip, do you believe what you have today is are you okay with, or do you need more? You're looking for more?
No, I think what we have is just fine. I think the biggest necessity and the biggest need immediately is getting it out there, making people aware.
Okay,
I think the content is fine. I just
Okay,
think,
so your issue is, that's really good. So your issue is awareness more than anything else.
yes,
We could tweak these a little bit, but it's really awareness.
right. I mean, for example, Michael, I mean, every pretty solid lead that we've had, they've either come from Tom or it's just me with personal friends or acquaintances or contacts. I mean, the phone hasn't, our phone hasn't just been ringing to say, hey, I think you guys might be able to help us, as a company or somebody that we've done business
Well, I
with.
don't know if that'll ever happen.
wait a minute.
But
I have a thought. What if we contacted Spectra? I know the marketing people there. What if we asked them for their lists?
Their list of business.
Yeah, their list, no, of their contacts so that we could email out information. We could do an e-blast out to people or, segmentize it and then send it out, in a systematic manner.
I do. I mean, look, that's real. And I think part of our strategy is going to be, and Chip has been kind of starting to ask for this. We have a very big sales organization out there. What we wanted to do is start with RD Weiss first. And
Okay.
but no, wait, hear me though. But I don't think but we also have Ed and we also have Shannon but I do think we should do that here. Do you remember when, our email blasts here are on a number of different topics, right?
Right.
And so what we need to do is we need to look at, to me, I think we go to the major markets and say, hey, can we get that list so we can start hitting them specifically with surface care? Are you talking about going to Aaron maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And with your buddy, what's her name? Danielle's, backing.
Yeah, I mean, she is getting, we're getting tremendous, eventually it'll be pressure. Right now, it's just exposure about the importance of surface care. ACON at the board meeting at the end of the year said it's their number one issue. Their number one issue is they see the profit of maintenance. How can we get more of it? So when you start seeing acquisitions, they'll be in the maintenance area as much or more than on the P&I side. And it won't maybe not last forever because there aren't many out there that we would actually want, but there are those out there. And so we will get support. The question is, what do we want? So Chip is saying right now, we may want to tweak a few of the things that we have, make them look a little bit better. I do want to see, based on this original presentation that we have, I would like to see something just on carpet cleaning and just on high performance coatings and just on tile and grout, right? With photographs and all that kind of stuff. But awareness is the biggest thing that Chip needs, because we need, as I said at the beginning of this, in order to build this thing out, we need a couple big wins, and we get a couple big wins by awareness.
Yep, exactly.
So maybe this blast is the thing, Cap.
Okay. So you want to start with RD Weiss and grow from there through talking with Aaron?
Well, let me ask you this question. What would you ask? What are you going to ask Aaron? You're going to ask Aaron for contacts of their what?
Yeah, from his list from Spectra that he has that would
Where I'm going with this is that's just Spectra though, right? And
Right.
our Diversify has more locations in Spectra, only by 2, but they
I
do.
still have that
And so
list.
we need to make sure.
Remember,
You do?
Yeah, remember I used to until just January, I was emailing to their salespeople's contacts. Yeah, so I have.
You are right. You are emailing to but on a wide range of topics.
Right. Wide range of topics, right? This is a single topic.
Right, and what this is going to be is very, exactly.
I never once talked about surface care. I don't think,
Right.
did we? Pete, I don't think that was,
Not specifically the 5 components of it. We've sent out about carpet cleaning and, but not enough,
disinfection, but not.
Yeah.
Like this, towel and grout, maybe towel and grout we did, yeah.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, so, but where we're gonna sculpt this message is gonna incorporate all 5 top, 1, 2, 3, 4 points. This whole approach is different, will be different, service care. So we have RD Weiss, we have diversifies list, and Spectra we don't have, which we could ask for. Or ask them to send it. I don't know. If we had an e-blast, they would send for us. That's probably what.
You know what just hit me? You know what hit me is that we really should consider the e-blast to be the locations that I described first. If we just go across the board, so I'm making this up, but let's say that we do it in Cincinnati. Well, who's going to service it through Cincinnati? RD Weiss would have to through a subcontractor there, right?
Right.
Which would be Legacy. Instantly, I know who that is. But my point being is that we could do that, but I believe it would be, here's what I think we should consider doing. I gave you the top markets that are going to be currently self-perform. If we go to Aaron and say, as part of this, what we want to do is we want to narrow it. So who are your top customers, not contacts? Who are your top customers? In other words, who are you doing business with in these markets, right? So RD Weiss, those companies, so I don't have to go over it again, those companies, because then it becomes very specific. These people already do business with us, but they're probably not doing maintenance business with us. So we target those folks. And then when we get opportunities, then Chip can be working with the local person to close that deal.
Okay.
I think there's 2 ways to approach it. I'm just throwing out an idea. That's an idea. In addition to that, Chip has some very specific accounts that he wants to go after. And by the way, we would target those folks as well. Chip, what do you think?
Yeah, and I think to be able to close a deal, obviously right now, wherever we can self-perform is a huge advantage for us because, the margins just become easier when you're not paying a third party. So you don't have to go quite as high on price to make it worth your while. So anything where we can self-perform, I think should be our initial target.
Right.
And we have, obviously, those are our people, those are our contacts, those are mostly the RD Weiss, or all the RD Weiss, maybe Spectra Atlanta and some of the other ones where we self-perform, but I honestly think that's number 1. And then, like you said, you don't want to get all over the place where we're looking for subs and trying to, make it work for a customer. I don't want to stick our neck out on the line if we can't do the best and the quickest and the most efficient job we can, like we can up where we self-perform.
Right. I get it. You mentioned Cincinnati. I do
think we're onto something here. We've got to build out what the story looks like. I'll send you guys some stuff on it. Again, you created part of this. Do we go to Aaron and say, hey, as part of this rollout for Surface Care nationally, and just keep emphasizing this because he works for Danielle. Michael's asked us to do this based on rolling this out on a national level. So with that said, what we'd like to do is target the markets where we're self-performing. Here are the markets. Can you give us who the customer contacts are? Not all your contacts, your customers. And what he may say is, we're going to have to go to the business unit. So in a couple of weeks, when I'm in Louisville and I'm meeting with Butler, I'll make sure that I engage with them on this. It'll be very easy for me to get at Chicago because I had that team. Atlanta will be easy for me to get. Don't know the resource people, Kiefer yet, but I will. Kiefer will be. So I can, it may be that you go to Aaron first and see what you can get. And then whatever we get, we may have to fine tune. For example, he may give us all the contacts. Then I can go to the business unit and just say, hey, here's your list. Who are you actually doing business with?
Uh-huh. You mentioned Cincinnati. Were you serious about that? Because I do have the salespeople's contacts from there.
No, Cincinnati is now, I mean, we would not be, RD Weiss would be subcontracting in that particular market, but it's okay because that subcontractor has been with us almost since we've been in existence, and they're exceptional. I actually set them up in 1992.
Get out of here.
So
Who was that?
it used to be Wilson Floors. It used to be Wilson Floors. Now it's Legacy.
Oh,
Now, actually, that's Columbus and Cleveland. Cincinnati is Carpet Concepts, which I also set up, but they're not a part of our network. So I have Legacy going, we would have Legacy going down there. I also set them up too.
I got Columbus information too.
Yeah.
This is from Bill. Craig Morris? You know him?
Craig's no longer with the company, but
Interesting. Okay. Or Joseph Carl. Do you know him?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, somebody I got from from Columbus. Okay, everything changes.
So
Let's get
it sounds
started.
like we're on to something. Really, what's that?
No, go ahead.
Lost you, Michael.
Oh, shoot.
No,
Nope.
I
there you
can, you guys are coming in and out so much. What did you say, Kat?
Before I just said things change. Everything changes. So
Yeah.
what we have to do is start with the story and build on it. Pull our pieces together and see what we got. I will call Aaron and see how he responds to me. I'll let him know what we're doing.
But
And
you know the market, you know the markets, right?
yeah, to some degree, yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying the markets I told you that are in the core markets, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the companies, right?
yes, I got him. Kiefer.
So I do I do think we start there, because what Chip is really saying to us is what we have can be tweaked a little bit, but really it's awareness. And I do agree with that. I don't think ever we're going to have a phone ring, because I don't really think that's our goal. Because then it becomes more of a commodity. But what we do need is what?
No, I probably said that the wrong way, but I mean, our phone ring, not from, ESPN going to call us, but, even our own people that are in these different areas, it could be, the one out in Colorado. Hey, I've got this client, Chip, probably need to talk to him. I mean, even the awareness within us is, I think, very important.
Mm-hmm. You meant it metaphorically, Chip, I think. You meant that metaphorically.
Yeah, I mean, the awareness that, we have this national account out there. And, for example, I just, Michael, when I was talking to Suzanne yesterday, she was talking about Comcast. And I go, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to a guy in close to 40 years, but he's a big wig, was in my fraternity at Comcast. He's been with them for 30 plus years. He's very high up in their food chain. Well, I got his cell phone. I called him today. We had a conversation. He hooked me up with the facilities guy for Comcast. Now,
You
for
did?
Suzanne, I did. I talked to him today. So I'm trying to meet with Comcast and set that up in Philly. Now, Suzanne just dropped that by, but for, Suzanne not knowing, hey, I've done 4 jobs with Comcast. They're huge. Maybe I should talk to Chip and see if we can make this big. I just don't think those light bulbs go off right now that I'm that person, or, this information can go from my own little neighborhood to across the United States.
Got it. I got it.
So-
We got to make people aware
Right,
what you're doing. I get it.
right.
Because we got to start there, then going off to, California to find work. It's within our group already. We just have to make them aware. So what I would do is I will see if Aaron will work with us to get the Spectra Atlanta, right? Butler in Louisville, Residence in Colorado, Resource, and Kiefer. Yeah, Kiefer.
Chicago, Diversify Chicago.
And
Also,
Yeah, Diversity Chicago, that's right. Yeah,
so I've got a project blowing up, so I'm gonna have to get off this line, but with you guys, but here's kind of where maybe Chip can kind of round this out. Here's where what I'll do from this call. I'm gonna send you, Kat, excuse me, a couple documents tonight
okay,
that we kind of use as a starting point.
okay,
If you can kind of, and you kind of heard what, we just need to take a look at it, tweak it a little bit, and then start building some things that spin out of it, right?
right,
And then if you can get with Aaron, whatever you get, just keep me posted so then when like, for example, Chris Johnson from Butler has texted me since I've been on this call. Okay. And so I'm going to be meeting with him. I can take this list if it's not honed to the way we want it. Because remember, it's not all their contacts, it's who they're currently working with. They may
Right.
not want to give it to, so I can go, Chris, wait a minute. This is because of this, and he should be good with it. Or I may be able to have a list that you get, and then he tweaks that list.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay. Good. So I apologize. I'm gonna have to get off, but hopefully this is a good start. Chip, if you can kind of lay out anything else that you need, and then we can kind of circle back on this.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Michael.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. So Chip.
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna give me what you have.
Yeah, I
Right?
think the only thing is what Michael just shared with you that I have, but I'll go through and see what I've got there, as far as what I've tried to just send out to some customers and that I've been dealing with now.
I want to
It's
see
not-
that.
I will. I'll send it to you as soon as we get off here.
Okay,
But yeah, I mean, it's an email blast is great. And I don't even know, I'm terrible at Salesforce, but I know every customer that we put in Salesforce, we put a contact name and an email address. And I don't know if there's a way to even query that CRM program to say, okay, we are dealing, let's take Comcast, for example. I know Suzanne said she's done 4 different locations where we've provided them with flooring. Well, I wonder who else. Comcast is a
right,
$400 billion company with 150,000 employees. They've got locations all over the world. Who else is doing work at Comcast? Maybe we've been doing work at 100 Comcast buildings. That's a perfect company for me to reach out to and say, listen, you're dealing with this on a piecemeal basis. You're dealing with this here and there, but why don't you get in our national program where when you need something, call me, we'll set something up across the country for you. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way of doing that in Salesforce.
well, you know what? Bill Bonner used to do that. When we needed to know that, he went in and did that, or he knew someone that did it for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I'm terrible at Salesforce. Matter of fact, I have to get a tutor every time I put a job in because it's 50 different steps and there's no real flow chart that shows you, okay, you go from here to here to here, or it takes you automatically. It just,
There are people that
is-
know that within
oh,
our,
I know. And I have to get help every time.
well, like,
so
what's her name from Buffalo?
Jillian is very good at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
And, but I mean, maybe that's something internally that Michael can help with, or somebody can help with, because that's what I used to do at my other company is we would be able to take a look and say, we've done 25 different jobs around the country for
Papa John's, let's just say, pizza places. Well,
Right.
and now that's not a very good example because they're franchised, but if you would get, Cox Cable or Spectrum or, anything like that, different, assisted living facilities that, they've got 500 locations and we throw and work in 50 of them. Well, how do we get the word out to the other, 450 of them that,
Right.
we've already done work with 50 of you. You're happy with our work. You just don't know, you're not aware that we do this.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good email blast to send out with people that we're already doing business with,
Right. Right.
rather
Okay.
than just cold calling,
Yeah. I will see. I will talk to Aaron and see what I can find if he'll be.
Okay.
He might not be cooperative. He's very.
Well, and here's your sales pitch, Kat. Not that I have to tell you how to do your job, but
Go ahead.
the sales pitch is, okay, let us have your contacts because we're going to grow your business in your area. The only thing that we're going to do is create more opportunities for you on your own personal local level. So, we're not going to take anything away from you, but you're not batting 100% on all of the opportunities you have. Let us use our marketing, let us use our size to increase your business and create people aware that we can do this. So
Okay.
it's a win-win. I mean,
Yeah, thank you for that
you know,
perspective. I appreciate that.
they're not getting all the business they can because, obviously, they're just not. So we're going to create more opportunities
it.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to create more opportunities for them. So,
Got it. Thank you for that approach. I appreciate it.
well, I deal that with salesmen all the time because they get very personal. It becomes
yeah.
personal to them.
Yes, that's where Aaron is.
It could be I'll take an example that, let's say we're doing coach and someone's got coach as an account, and they're doing very well. Let's say they've got 60% of their stores that they're working on, let's say in the New York City area.
Right.
But they're located in Houston and Chicago and Orlando and LA, but we're not touching those because that salesperson doesn't want to give up that information because they don't want to lose their own.
I see.
And they don't want Chip to go over and start talking to LA. And then something goes wrong with LA where this person in New York City with RD Weiss has their hands in it. They're self-performing. We're very good at it. And then we're going to go to LA and we're going to mess something up and we're going to lose the whole account.
Yes.
And that's what salespeople are afraid of.
I see.
And that's the biggest hurdle that I have to try to go from, I've had this account for 20 years and I try to tell them, but there's 100 more locations that we're not getting that you can get a piece of if I can close it.
Right.
But they'd rather have, they'd rather have that stability of knowing that they're in control of these ones that they're doing. So,
See, Aaron is not a salesperson. Aaron is
right.
me on the spectrum.
Right. Well, the sales pitch then is we're only going to increase their opportunities by getting their information out and marketing that here's a program that we have that can only help them.
Yeah.
So,
well, he won't work autonomously. He will go to Danielle.
I think Danielle definitely wants to grow this program. So I think that's a no-brainer.
Oh, I'll bring her in. I'll bring her in then. I'll say that she's behind this.
Yes, Danielle I talked to her at the Christmas party and she's like, Chip, we gotta, Acon's big onto this. We gotta kill some whales. Well,
got it.
Right now, Kat, I'm cold calling. That's how I'm trying to kill whales. Well, you know what the percentages of that is of being successful. It's terrible.
I feel sorry for you.
It's frustrating. And I know, I don't bring up the old company very often, but Stanley Steamer, you could turn on a TV right now and you'll see a commercial.
Absolutely.
I mean, they spend millions and millions of dollars to market
And yeah, my phone rang 5-6 times a week with potential national accounts.
I see.
And because people knew them, they just,
Right.
they would call and say, hey, I don't know if you do commercial work or not, but I know you're really big. Could you help us at our 500 locations?
Right.
And I'd go, absolutely. You know, so it's, you know, it's just that awareness. And I know that's a different level because they're trying to reach residential homes and that's why they're on TV. And it's not, I understand that, but it also, you know, marketing and awareness is the key to growing a business. So,
Okay, I get it.
all right. All right. Let me
Thanks.
know. I'll send you some stuff.
Yes,
I'll shoot
thank
you
you.
off emails of what I have. Thanks, Kat. Thanks, Peter.
Take care.
Thanks, Chip.
See it. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.